Thank you. What a pleasure to hear that music. I would like to welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your life journey, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We are so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning. We come together for worship in order to slow down and listen for the calling of our hearts, our spirits. We come together for worship so that we can be reminded of our highest aspirations and continue to transform ourselves into our best selves. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome, and after the service, we invite you to gather with us in the social hall over there for coffee and refreshments. And our weekly newsletter is available to you on our website, and you can get connected with everything that's going on here through that information. And a special welcome to visitors. And I would like to invite you, if you're comfortable doing so, to stand and introduce yourselves. Anybody? Hi.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler McGee. I live down the road on McGee Street, named after my grandfather. I've been here a few times.
Good.
So I'm very happy to be back. I'm here with my daughter, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Glad to be back and glad to hear the word. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for speaking, Tyler. Welcome. Anybody else? And a special welcome to our online... I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, I've been here before. I've been for a while, yeah. My name's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. Welcome. Good. We're glad you came.
And although I really hate public speaking, my name is Holiday. This is my second time here.
Welcome back, Holiday. And I want to extend a special welcome to our online visitors. And you are also welcome to subscribe to our newsletter. I have a few announcements. The Social Action Group will meet here in the sanctuary at noon, and all are welcome. The Common Read discussion groups are beginning soon. The Common Read is a book that is chosen for worldwide, national distribution for UUs to read and talk about. This one is called Repentance and Repair, and it's written by a rabbi, Danya Rutenberg. And this book will be discussed in 3 separate sessions on Thursdays in February. You can attend the in-person discussion here at 11, or the Zoom conversation at 5:30, and Holly Olbrich will be leading that. She's sitting right there. You need to register, so go online and register for that. And the installation of a minister is such a pivotal part of any congregation's life, and we are going to be installing Reverend Holly Brown on March 17th at 4 o'clock. With the reception to follow, but we ask that you RSVP, and then we can plan the seating and the space arrangements. Anything else from anybody? And with that, invite you to rise in body, mind, or spirit and sing hymn number 118. I'm not prepared to hear you say one thing and watch you do another without even mentioning it. I'm not talking about mistakes. You know, we all make those. Sometimes we speak too soon and think too little. We worry more about procedures than promises. We let fear and guilt keep our choices and actions small. Those things, common and human, keep calling us forward to different, better choices. I'm thinking of a different thing in which you know the right thing to do and spend entire notebooks of calculations on figuring out how not to do it. Or conversely, you give it no thought at all. It's understandable that to learn, the student must be ready. And if you choose not to be ready while the world cries out for your help, choose to linger in indecision and shrug off the human cost, you are wasting the gentle flexibility of grace. And as Frederick Douglass said, using your liberty for unholy license. You must account for this day. Choose justice. You must account for your gifts. Generate love. Your effort in community is a precious resource. Take courage. Move with urgency toward every possibility. Please hurry. Don't stop.
Thank you, Barbara. So we have a visitor that is a young person with us this morning, and she has agreed to come forward with Talia to help with lighting our chalice. So we invite Allison and Talia to come forward and help light our chalice, as all of you join in reading our chalice lighting words, which are the fellowship's affirmation and can be found in your order of service. Yes, all right. We gather together in the spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. Thank you, Allison and Talia. That's okay. Oh, it's over there.
We have a particularly fun story this morning for this Time for All Ages this morning. This is one that I came across recently, and I just loved it, so I'm really happy to be able to share it with you this morning. It's called Bling Blaine, Throw Glitter, Not Shade. Blaine loved to shine. Well, actually, he loved to sparkle. Blaine was all about the bling. Throw glitter, not shade, he always said. He embellished his school uniform. He bedazzled his book bag. He added sequins to his baseball cap. Even his eyes twinkled. Blaine was a shining star everywhere he went. He spread happiness like confetti, especially at Freedom Elementary School. For the T-ball game, he glued rhinestones to the team's jerseys, handed out shimmery sneaker laces, and whacked a home run. "Who's that?" a new kid asked. "That's Blaine," Sue replied, "our flashiest player." "What's with all the glitz?" "Blaine loves bling," Sue said, "just like I love the color orange." Blaine hung dazzling read-a-book posters in the library, gave a metallic bookmark to each kid at checkout time, and stuck glossy stickers to their shirts. A library volunteer stared. "Who's that kid?" "That's Blaine," said Alberto, "the brightest kid at school." "Why is he dressed like that?" "Blaine wears bling, like I wear high tops." At Bring Your Family to the Movies night, Blaine sewed spangles to his suspenders, added tinsel to the concession stand, and served cupcakes with sparkly sprinkles. "Who's he?" asked Marvin's sister. "That's Blaine, the snazziest kid around." "Why is he so glimmery?" "Blaine's into bling," Marvin replied, "like I'm into hoodies." But bling seemed to rub some people the wrong way. Blaine overheard Marvin's sister say, "Only girls wear sparkles." He saw the library volunteer roll her eyes at the sight of his favorite glitzy beads. And when the new kid pushed him and said, "Sissy," Blaine felt it on the outside and the inside. That's shade, not glitter, Blaine thought. But maybe they're right. It was a dark day for Blaine. On Monday, Blaine was blingless. Not one bead, not one bangle. T-ball was totally blingless too. Tuesday, there was no bling in the library. Everyone was checked out instead of checking out. And on Wednesday, zip, zilch, zero, no bling. The family dance-a-thon was a big zero, too. "School is so blah," Sue moaned. "So bland," Alberto mumbled. "So boring," Marvin muttered. Without bling, Freedom Elementary School was losing its shine. And so was Blaine. Even the twinkle had gone out of his eyes. Something had to be done. So, the next morning in the library, Marvin pulled off his hoodie, showing off a vest glistening with glitter. Sparkles are for girls, his sister said. Boys can wear bling, Alberto replied, rolling up the legs of his pants and unveiling his sequin-covered socks. The library volunteer stared. Blaine did, too. Sparkles and bling are for everyone, said Sue as she slid off her sweater, revealing a jewel-covered T-shirt. You're all a bunch of, the new kid started to say. Then he looked around the library. Blaine's eyes twinkled. You guys like bling too? He asked. We're your friends, answered Sue. Your pals, Alberto added. If you like bling, Marvin began, then we like bling. Bling, 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 the students chanted. Blaine felt sparkly on the inside and on the outside. Sue and Alberto talked with the library volunteer, and Marvin had a sit-down meeting with his sister. And Blaine gave a sparkly gift to the new kid. His name was Walter. Thanks, said Walter. He smiled, just a little. From that day on, everyone was free to be themselves at Freedom Elementary School. Always remember, said Blaine, throw glitter, not shade, the other kids cheered.
This is the time we set aside for the offering in order to give toward the financial vitality of this community. And 25% of our weekly collection each week goes to an organization in our community that we partner with. And for this month, we are partnering with Ripple of One. For those at home, you can go to the website and use the donate button. And we thank you for your generosity.
Thank you for all of these gifts that you've given today, and thank you for the wealth of joys and concerns today. I think this is a winner of how many we've had in one Sunday. And this time of joys and concerns could be seen as an extension of our offering a little bit of ourselves, sharing our joys and concerns that are in our hearts and in our lives with one another. And so as I read these, I'm going to ask Barbara to place a stone in the shared vessel representing this community. Have a joy from Carrie Moss. Thank you to Way for an awesome talent show last night. Yes, yes. Right. And we have from Stephen Afrigola on Friday, March 22nd at 7 p.m., the Oklahoma Boys will be having a show here and then there'll be $7 like kind of ticket here at the door.
It's our Dead Man Walking Show.
Yes, Dead Man Walking Show. Yes. All right. And we have a appreciation from Martha Alexander to thanks to Way and to all of the performers who helped with set up the piano, the lights, the mics, the chairs, the buffets, and those that helped stay and clean up after the talent show. Yes. All right. And so I'm seeing a theme here in our joys and concerns today. Alan Goldsmith has a special thanks to everyone who made last night's talent show such a wonderful and thoroughly enjoyable evening. And Chen Fu Chen has a joy, worked as a poll worker, met some new and old friends, and read some good Zen stories. Let's see. And then we have a thank you from Elaine Fredendahl about the people who made last night's talent show so fun, especially those who did all the setup and made such a nice space for everyone. Let's see. And then Wei Chen, a thank you to all that came and donated to last night's talent show. So here's the different part. We raised $305 for the fellowship, and it was a great night of performances. Yes. And as I said last night, Wei came up and said, hey, I have an idea. Could we do this thing? And we said, why not? So if y'all ever have an idea, know that we can see if it's something we can do and turn into a fun event like this. And then from Jennifer Reese, we have a joy that I just made the last tuition payment for my daughter, Audrey. Okay, thank you. She graduates from college in May. Woo-hoo! Yes, thank you. Yes. And for all of the other joys and concerns that remain quiet and tender upon our hearts, we place one more stone in the vessel. And now, our children and youth are invited to join our RE teachers in RE for a special treat about Chinese New Year coming up. And we have our song to sing the children on their way. Oh. And the spirit of love surrounds you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Okay, great job, guys. Oh, we're good. All right. So, now I would like to invite you into kind of a spirit of prayer and reflection. Source of life, the road of history is long and full of both hope and disappointment. In times past, there have been wars and rumors of war, violence and exploitation, hunger and homelessness, and destruction of this earth, your creation. We have become a global village with a growing realization of how fragile this earth is and how interconnected we are to each other and to all creation. We cannot continue to live in the old way. We must make change, seek a new way, a way forward with peace and justice and a healthy planet. O great creative spirit, you have given a vision of the good, and we yearn for a new way. But where are we to find the courage to begin this work? We know that a different tomorrow is possible, but how can we build it? We think of the prophets, the women, the men, the people who voiced unpopular opinions, who made personal sacrifices and sometimes lost their lives for the sake of justice. We think of Isaiah, who called out to those who are held in captivity to go free, to give solace to the poor and homeless. Let us be inspired by all who work to overcome misery and poverty and exploitation. We think of Harriet Tubman, who called out to the people of goodwill to join her in an underground railroad, to lift a dehumanized people from bondage of slavery to the promise of freedom, even when it meant challenging unjust laws. Let us be inspired by those who are outlaws for freedom. We think of Gandhi, whose belief in soul force, the witness of love's truth, helped to overflow the oppressions of an empire and gave witness to a way of nonviolent action. Let us be inspired to become witnesses for peace. We think of Chief Seattle, who reminded us that we belong to the earth, not the earth to us. Let us be inspired by those who work for healing of creation, of Mother Earth and all her creatures. Who are the prophets who inspire you? May they be well known or known only to you, offering personal inspiration, courage, and hope. May they join the great cloud of witnesses to a new way of life, the way of peace and justice, the way of justice lived according to the way of peace and the beloved community. So may it be, and amen.
The reading is from Dr. Tiffany Yana, and it deals with the three categories that you see listed in the order of worship. allyship, accomplice, and co-conspirator. Allyship, the thinking and learning stage. In today's world, an ally is mostly someone who believes in the equal rights of all people, or a specific group of people. An ally is someone who supports equal justice in theory, often with thoughts and prayers, and sometimes with words in small groups. You can be an ally and do nearly nothing. If the boundaries of your allyship extend to reading, learning, watching, and privately discussing the much-deserved freedom of others, that's a great first step. BIPOC allies read books by authors of color to deepen their understanding of racial inequalities. LGBTQIA and allies memorize the acronym and endure the mental acrobatics of requesting and navigating personal pronouns. They also solidly understand the differences between the acronym's representative identities. Allies. Allies begin to level up the more they start speaking up about these ideas, especially in mixed company when people actively disagree or remain completely clueless about justice issues. Ally privilege is the ability to care about social justice issues without actually showing up and doing anything about it. A privileged ally often lacks deep, authentic relationships with people in the demographics they support. The accomplice brings the ally to the reactive response. Accomplices actively work to dismantle systems of oppression. They have passed through the initial phase of allyship, and they have done the requisite work of learning and understanding their roles in upholding unjust structures. Accomplices flip the dynamic and use what they've learned and whatever access they have to help course correct systemic bias. Accomplices begin to tap their privilege, which is any personal advantage, earned or unearned, that makes your life easier, in the service of justice. Being an accomplice is strengthened by underrepresented demographic proximity, but it's not impossible in its absence. And there's a fourth, co-conspirator. The co-conspirator level brings that accomplice to the proactive phase. Co-conspirators work alongside the communities they support. They seek, and they create meaningful relationships with the people they actively support. Co-conspirators show up with, not just for, BIPOC people and or LGBTQIA folks, and they listen. They do not co-opt the cause. Instead, they respect the work already being done by leaders in justice spaces, and they offer meaningful support. Co-conspirators are not trying to be saviors, and they do not fancy themselves superior to the people they work alongside. Instead, they are conscious of their privilege, and they use it as fuel to help erode barriers. Co-conspirators ask how they can show up for the people already doing the work, and they leverage their privilege in the service of freedoms that they already enjoy. And she closes with saying, I believe what separates co-conspirators from allies is the willingness to put yourself on the line. Whether it's assets, reputation, time, connections, or other resources, co-conspirators always have skin in the game.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we cry. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
So this isn't something I was going to say, but I just have to mention that, does anybody else, when watching things like this with a bunch of other UUs, go, do I recognize that person? Especially if you've been around for a while or watched things like this. And this is about 4 years old. It was done early on in the pandemic by UU The Vote, which I'm sure we'll be gearing up to do again in this coming election year to get the vote out. But the point of putting this reading and this piece of music together was very intentional. Because how shall we be known? Are we allies? Are we accomplices? Are we co-conspirators? Who are those that we keep company with? Whose lead do we follow? And I think most of us could agree that there is justice work that needs to be done in the world. And that maybe various ones of you have done a different amount of work in that area. So does anybody know what our fourth principle says? A few nods of the head, but the justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, that is something that we affirm and promote as Unitarian Universalist. And did I get the number wrong, Holly? I see a quizzical look on your face. 7. Okay, well, I stand corrected. That's what I get for not having it in my notes in front of me. I remembered the right words, though. So, that being said, it is something that we have held as central among our faith pretty much since we've been Unitarian Universalists. A different version of it was written in an earlier version of the principles. It is likely that you have supported one or more justice movements in your lifetime. Maybe it's civil rights, maybe it was marriage equality, maybe it's objections to banned books or curriculums, trans rights, LGBTQ rights, reproductive rights. Maybe it has been at various different levels of support, whether through financial support, your voting, how you vote on particular issues, your time, whether it is writing postcards with UU the Vote, or writing letters or emails or phone calls to your representatives. Maybe it's protesting in a variety of different ways. Maybe it is boycotting one group or another. Maybe it is showing up at an action, holding a vigil. And I would say that we all, as UUs, as a whole, as a faith, fall somewhere in those three: ally, accomplice, or co-conspirator. But do you think we're all in the same exact place along the journey? No. We are in different places. But I want to relay an illustration that I found out about by Brittany Packnett Cunningham, and she referred to Beverly Daniels, the former president of Spelman College, as the originator of this illustration, which I'm going to do just a very small paraphrasing of, because the reading you heard from Barbara goes into detail about what these three categories are. So if you imagine for a moment a 4-lane road, and on that 4-lane road, you have 4 people. One that is running, just keeping going with the flow, the status quo, not really paying attention to what is happening around them in the world, like the chalice going out again. I trimmed it and put more oil in it. But, maybe we need a new wick. But unlike that person who's not paying attention, we then have allies in the 2nd lane, and they've slowed down. They're kind of walking and pausing and paying attention to what is going on around them, but not really sure what to do yet, maybe studying and learning. Then you have the accomplice that has stopped and turned around and facing the opposite direction and paying attention to what's going on, listening to the voices of others in the justice movements. And then finally, you have the co-conspirator. The 4th lane is someone that has not just stopped and turned around, but has started running in the opposite direction, following the lead of those that have been most directly impacted in the work of justice. And as in the reading that Barbara shared and Brittany shared, is that we need to be mindful of saviorism. The notion that someone is going to come in, they're going to know better, and they're going to take over, rather than following the lead of those impacted. There is so much going on in the world. Do you ever get overwhelmed or uncertain about what we can do? Sometimes I just get so exasperated I want to throw up my hands and say, what is the point? Anybody else feel that way? Yeah. It takes courage, friends, to not just throw up our hands, to not just give up, because some do not have the ability to give up. If you are a person of color, if you are a member of the LGBTQ community, if you are disabled, if you have neurodiversity, if you have a different way of being in the world, it's not something that you can just take off and put aside. It is constantly with us. It is moving us forward in the world. And while we need to take a break, take a breath, and joy, knowing that joy is part of the resistance, we also recognize that some of us don't live with that daily question, that do I or don't I have to continue doing this work? We have privilege to put it down, to walk away, to stop taking the risks. But for us to continue to move out of our comfort zone, to be aware of what is going on in the world, and sometimes that comfort zone means going and putting ourselves at risk. Sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's physically showing up. The first time I went to a justice demonstration, and not just showing up somewhere, but I had to fill out a card of who my emergency contact was and make sure that I was accounted for and who was going to help get me out of jail if I went to jail. And showing up knowing that that was a risk. That was a new one for me the first time that happened. I'd shown up at peaceful protests and things, but that was new. And not all of us can take those kind of risks, because I really had to think about it. As somebody that has asthma, if pepper spray is used, that could be really dangerous. And so making those decisions of what it's worth for us. And that's going to be a different answer for each and every one of us. And maybe that's helping put money in a bail fund, not you going out, but helping make sure others are taken care of in that way. And the world around us is changing, not just a little bit, but every single day. Because if we cease to change, we cease to be. And our faith is changing by necessity. In a report by the Commission on Institutional Change in 2020 called Widening the Circle of Concern, it notes how we are living in unprecedented times. Of course, that was during early days of the pandemic. We were using that word unprecedented quite a lot, weren't we? In the fast change of the world, the report says, quote, "The good news about all of these changes is that it could actually make the value of face-to-face religious community more important. This kind of community offers a kind of sanctuary and solace that is not offered in other experiences, and yet, without attention and care, oppressive practices that center the white, straight, cisgender, affluent, able-bodied, neurotypical, college-educated experience will make religious community untenable to those who need it the most as a place of sanctuary in these troubled times." End quote. as a faith in the world when there are more spiritual but not religious, or nuns registering as what their religious affiliation is in the census. We are positioned as a faith, as a denomination, to hold space for those people that are searching for something larger than themselves but don't want to fit into the bounds of traditional religious community. But we have to be willing to acknowledge the world as it is changing around us. We can't continue to do the things as we have always done them. And as you have probably heard at least once or twice since I've been here, about 6 months now, is I'm a United Methodist minister's child and grandchild. And growing up, my dad served some very small rural country churches. And one thing that I saw was that there was a hesitancy to change. They wanted new people. They wanted kids, but then would say something about how they're acting up in service. And there's a saying that a lot of denominations, colleagues in seminary I heard say this, is the 7 last words of the church, akin to the 7 last words from Jesus, is we haven't ever done it that way. And it did prove true in some of the churches that my dad served. But I think us as UUs have an advantage on this. We recognize as a living tradition, as James Luther Adams founded on his vision of I don't have this written down, of that Revelation isn't sealed, essentially, that what we continue to know and learn in this faith, as we continue to learn and grow, we recognize that we are not all in the same place. Some of us are just reading or talking or learning about something for the very first time. Others of us are showing up and working towards justice in a variety of different ways. But there's also a pitfall that we as UUs sometimes run into. Do we ever think that it's about those out there and all the work that needs to be done, rather than recognizing that we still need to do some work? We don't have it all figured out. And this can impact our relationships by thinking that we have it all figured out. Because have you ever gotten into trouble with thinking you know it all? Maybe at one point in your life or another. I certainly don't know it all. I've been to seminary, I've studied a lot, but I'm not here to give you all of the answers, because I don't have them, and our answers are different. But I am here to keep asking questions, and hope that it encourages you to keep asking questions, to find a balance in our lives in showing up for the work of justice, but also showing up for each other, willing to have difficult conversations, willing to recognize that we all have different levels of privilege that we bring into these spaces together. And I want us to think about not just where we are, where we were, but where we are going. Where are we on this journey together? How do we keep moving towards who we are becoming, who we might become together? And I hope that you'll continue to come and explore in the weeks and the months and the years that I hope that we continue to have this shared ministry together, to consider what it means to take risks and to be accountable in the endeavors as we work from allies to accomplices to co-conspirators towards a collective liberation, because all justice issues are intertwined. They are not singular. Let us grow together into who we are becoming as a fellowship and as a faith. May it be so. May we make it so. And blessed be. You are now invited to rise in body or in spirit wherever you are and join in singing number 123, Spirit of Life. May we be continued to be moved by the spirit of justice. May we be continued to be held by this community, knowing that we are here in this together. We invite you to go in peace, but return in love until we are together again. And pretend that I am now extinguishing the chalice.